On behalf of entitled to convey our warmest greetings to all of you. This is Dr. Srinidhi Chidambaram, and I welcome you to our corporate health series. You know that March celebrates International Women's Day, and this year it is dedicated to investing in women's achievements, health, and well-being. Achieving gender equality in all aspects of life is more crucial than ever if we want to create prosperous economies and a healthy planet. Knowledge is power, and we believe that our mission is to ensure that you stay aware and in control of your health so that you're poised to give your best at work, home, and career. So we have curated a series of sessions as part of our corporate health series so that several aspects of women's health are discussed with our top experts from Apollo hospitals. We also believe that we help you make the right informed decisions about your health and well-being. This is vital in this era of social media misinformation and unsafe and inauthentic sources. An area of health where it is even more vital to have authentic and factual information is hair health, aesthetic and cosmetic, and health. We as women pride ourselves in looking good, make efforts to be the best version of ourselves, and a good part of that is about skin and hair, but they can also indicate nutrient deficiencies and signs of diseases and conditions. Myths and misconceptions and a plethora of hair treatments and supplements abound all around us. And really, everyone thinks they're an expert when it comes to hair care, but we need to know what actually works. So today, we are going to ask one of the most experienced and renowned dermatologists in our group, Dr. D.M. Mahajan, to give us his insights and guidance on caring for our hair. Dr. D.M. Mahajan, a renowned dermatologist with over 35 years of expertise, serves as the senior consultant dermatologist at Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals, New Delhi. Well known for his proficiency in treating diverse skin, hair, and nail conditions, he specializes in addressing severe dermatological issues as well, such as cystic acne, psoriasis, alopecia, rosacea, skin cancer, and vitiligo. A leader in aesthetic dermatology as well, Dr. Mahajan pioneered non-invasive anti-aging procedures like Botox, fillers, and fractional laser in India, with the legacy of introducing botulinum toxin type A in 1998. He has gained popularity for his work in hair restoration and cryolipolysis. His extensive training and experience extend to treating abnormal pigmentation, dry skin, rashes, scales, bumps, skin peeling, addressing both symptoms and the underlying causes of dermatological conditions. He is also a participant in major national and international conferences and provides consultation on skincare products and oral supplements as well, serving as a research consultant with cosmeceutical groups, offering insights into upcoming products. He has also served as the president of the Indian Nephrologist and Venereologist Association of Dermatologists in 1997. Welcome, Dr. Mahajan. Thank you so much for joining us today in this program. And I'm very happy that you're here to give us an overview about what constitutes good hair health. So let's begin by asking you, what happens to hair growth and hair health in the lifespan of a woman?
Well, Dr. Sri, for your kind words, I must try to concentrate my talk only on hair at the wanted places, because there are two sets of hair at the wanted places, that is scalp, eyebrows, or at the hair at the rest of the body, which especially for aesthetic reasons are unwanted in women who are aesthetically very, very cautious. So we concentrate our talk only about the hair in the scalp, and I always start my talks with one word that hair in scalp is better than 2 in brush. So this is very, very important that for most of the women or even for the males nowadays, the one of the frightening sight is when they find lot of hairs in their brush and suddenly they look into the mirror again, look man, they are balding. This is one of the worst things. And I must say, balding is even worse than a breakup. I must tell you that is incorrigible and very, very difficult. So it is better that we take care of our hair health right in the beginning. And it's not very difficult also. Like other parts of the body needs care. Similarly, hair with a little bit of care can do wonders. So let me be asked something what all my women friends they want to know of hair.
So, what would be the reasons for this hair thinning and hair fall, you think?
Doctor, we must know that hair is a very special organ. That is the only organ of the body which grows at such a fast pace. That is 2 centimeters every month it grows. No other organ of the body grows as fast as the hair. So it is a law of nature that any organ or anything which grows or moves faster gets destabilized the first. That holds true for the hair also. Like we do come across such a phenomenon while we are studying for the exams or any stressful period. Suddenly, our mind is taxed and suddenly we brush our mind, just to freshen it and find 2 or 3 hairs on the books. So this is the hair which is being affected, the first organ of our stress. And as we all are living under fair amount of stress in big metropolitan cities, be it a kid, be it a youngster, be it any age, we all are under constant stress. So is the pollution in the atmosphere, and so is our habits also, which have changed considerable over the years. Actually, during the COVID period, I think everybody went into their kitchens and became a chef themselves, having a overcooked food and thereby compromising the essential nutrients. So we must not forget that hair, like any other living organ, derives its nutrition from the blood itself. So all these things should be easily available to the hair to ensure a good health. So first and foremost is the nutrition. Secondly, you should not suffer from any systemic involvements, be it diabetes, be it thyroid disorders, be it autoimmune disorders, which cause fair amount of inflammation in the hair bulb. It is very pertinent to know that hair has got 2 parts. The one which we are very fond of, juts out of the skin, is known as the hair shaft, which is a dead organ. And the living part remains inside the skin, which is known as the bulb or the hair follicle, which is a living organ. So our whole concentration instead should be towards the hair bulb. Of course, hair shaft has a good aesthetic value, but then if hair bulb is healthy, so will be the hair shaft also. So nutrition remains a major part. Then hereditary, yes, we all are born with fair amount of genetic programming. We cannot change that programming altogether, but yes, we can modify it by observing certain disciplines, certain observations, certain do's and don'ts. And then comes the other parts, like the lifestyle also is a major factor, in the sense if we do incorporate exercise into our day-to-day regime, it will definitely be, has a good, healthy effect on our hairs. So, and at the same time, a relaxed lifestyle also is very important. So that all these micronutrients which find the way towards the hair bulb, they nourish the hair bulbs adequately, and the product or the hair shaft produced is of very healthy nature. We can from a distance wake up, look, this guy's got a very healthy skin or a healthy hair. So that's what we call it a parameter of your health in general also.
So let's talk a little bit more about nutrition. So you were saying that nutrition plays a vital role in hair health. So what could you explain to us a little more about what kind of nutrition, what kind of food is it like, are there any specific foods to avoid or a diet to uh, concentrate on for good hair health?
Few elements and few fatty acids, omega fatty acids and amino acids, iron, zinc, copper are found to be very helpful in the hair growth or the nutritional part of it. Now, omega acids have found a special place in the sense that it takes care of the inflammation. Inflammation is a major source of hair destruction. So inflammation around the hair bulb, it takes care of the inflammation as well as improves the micronutrients which feed the hair bulb. Now, zinc is, as we all know, is very important in the metabolism of the hair bulb. And so is the iron, which provides a basic source of oxygen to the hair bulb. And we are a very diverse country with a diverse food habits. Like majority are vegetarian and many are non-vegetarian. So each has its own pitfalls. Like being a vegetarian deprives you of a fair amount of a B12 and vitamin D and vitamin A in your diet, and also a rich source of iron. Whereas the non-vegetarians, they are basically deficient in some form of the vitamins also. So we have to make a mixed balance of between the green leafy vegetables, which are a high source, legumes, germinating pulses, and say the fish eaters, should take salmon fish in particular, or eggs also have a fair amount of iron and other amino acids. So these things should be incorporated in our diet, and more cook the food, the less nutritious value it has and more harmful to the body. So make it a rule, the less you cook up food, the better it has a nutritive.
What about vitamins and supplements then? Because one today reads about so many different supplements, and sometimes they're even sold as supplements for hair. For example, biotin. And there are many, many combinations which are available. What would your advice be on consuming these hair and skin supplements?
Definitely, out of all, biotin has been hyper marketed, I must say. Yes, it does have a role, but a limited. Eventually, it is your general health and your body system, if it is good enough, gets enough vitamin, biotin in the normal food, which the body assimilates and provides it as a micronutrient to that. But then definitely biotin has a good role in the maturation of the hair matrix or the keratin part of it. So it provides a good shaft and a lustrous sort of shaft to the hair. And coming to the other, like vitamin D again is very important. It gives, it is an anti-inflammatory also, and gives a good growth rate to the whole system. Plus, it has been recently found that it has antidepressant activities also. It elevates the mood. So far, very few studies have been conducted in the Indian population as to know exactly what exactly is our vitamin D levels. All studies are biased in Western, and there is a difference. So we invariably find every second person deficient in the vitamin D deficiency. And after some treatments, we have found people very much elevated in their mood and that, it is something very, ultimately it is the feel-good factor. which is very important to do well in life. So these all things, they really help a lot.
So today, doctor, there is also this whole spectrum of cosmetic treatments, but they also now veer into medical treatments for hair growth, for preventing hair fall. So we've heard of microneedling, or there might be PRP uh, treatments. So could you elaborate a little bit on those and, their effectiveness and what are the indications?
Look, be it microneedling, be it PRP, we are inflicting a calculated injury to the hair follicles, so that in turn there is a very, very good and positive wound healing. And it ensures a good blood supply and a better quality of the hair shaft and a change in the telogen. The hair has got a 3 stages. One is anagen. It is like a child which grows in size very fast. Second is telogen, that it comes to a rest, everything comes to a rest and the things get shed. And it leads to a stage of shedding known as a catagen, or the decay or the old age. But luckily our hair cycle is so well balanced that all our efforts, mainly the ana phase or the growth phase, occupies the predominance in the hair cycle. See, at a time around 90% of the hairs are in the anagen phase. And the secondary telogen phase or the resting phase comes when there is a stress, say, especially after the long, arduous surgeries, say, after depression, on certain antidepressant medicines. Some blood pressure medicines also cause this stage to come faster, and certain systemic diseases such as thyroids and diabetes also lead to this stage of telogen effluvia, in which suddenly the growing phase of the hair is compromised and it results into a resting phase. This is where the hairs are shed in turn to give rise to a newer growing hair. So normally this lasts for 3 months to that, and then it is again followed by a enough phase. So it is during that phase of telogen that most of the people get panicked. They are shit scared of washing their hair because they see copious hair fall after the shampooing. They don't do all this shampooing their dirty hairs, which adds to the woes also. So my sincere advice is, do not be afraid of shampooing, and especially keep the scalp health in a very happy position so that your hair bulbs are intact and we are able to soon reverse the telogen phase. Now, coming to these two things, such as the microneedling and PRP, in which your own blood is used or the other growth factors are used by making these micro channels into the hair roots, and they are directly supplied to the hair roots to promote its growth and increase in the thickness of the shaft also of the hair. It has shown promise, no doubt. Well, again, I said hair has a lot of aesthetic value than a functional value. So a sudden stop in the hair fall, you feel so good that you have achieved a lot of things. So it itself, you're on the victory path. So it starts this process of recovery, and then the inflammation also, which leads to this areas, and then the scarring, which is occurring because of these areas, inflammation in these areas, also is being taken care of. No doubt, they have been promoted out of proportion, but definitely they need to be advocated in the right cases. And I have shown very good results, seen myself very good results. Now, another newer medicines, another therapies have come, such as the GFC, growth factor concentrate, and another is the stem cells treatment, the Regenera Activa, which is also very useful in cases where PRP and other hair restoration procedures are not up to the mark as we always advocated. So there is a plethora of things, but only thing is we need to know when to use and how much to use.
Uh, the other common condition that affects a lot of people, we were talking about the scalp. There is also a lot of people suffering from dandruff. What can be done to manage this situation?
Dandruff, there are two aspects to it. One aspect is that one, it is constitutional. Like I always give an analogy, like it is not necessary in life that a good driver will not come across an accident or a bad driver will always bump into an accident. No. It is somehow some programming is there into every individual. That is why you are known as particular individual. You cannot blame it to the quality of the seborrheic glands which secrete this substance, which when get desiccated on the scalp surface gives rise to the dandruff, and in very copious forms when it assumes alarming proportions and gives redness, it is known as seborrheic capitis or a pseudo-psoriasis also. But that is a very, very pathogenic condition for which you need a dermatologist. For an ordinary dandruff, I strictly advise not to use oil because the basic aim is to wash away these scales which are getting accumulated on the surface of the scalp, to wash it down so that they don't form an adherent layer, and then to apply the medicines which can easily penetrate the scalp table. So frequent shampooing is very important. Zinc pyrithione shampoos are very good. And in the beginning, these should be left over for 3, 4 to 5 minutes, the leathers, so that it takes away the scales and does the best job. Not that you straight away push and wash it down with the water. So let it stay for a while, 4 or 5 minutes, and then wash it. Now, there are various solutions also like steroids and calcineurin inhibitors or the tacrolimus, which are useful for combating the excessive dandruff. And you'll be surprised that the coal tar on which we do the carpeting of the roads is one of the very, very useful thing for combating the dandruff. So, instead, we should do rationally by not applying the frequent oiling and getting it percolated as a scum and then using extra shampoo to wash down that. Instead, we do the frequent shampooing, and then as and when we require, we can do a little bit of oil conditioning once in a while, but not long. But I must tell you that it is basically in pathogenic conditions, it is a yeast which is responsible. Malassezia globosa is the name which causes this. So, frequent cleansing of the hair, cleaning your brushes and combs, very important. Don't use each other's brushes, and keeping the hair in healthy condition avoids the frequent dandruff problem.
You were talking about oiling hair. This is just a general question. Do you suggest, because traditionally there has always been, and even today we see there are so many advertisements for hair oils that cause luxuriant growth of hair. So what do you have to say about that?
Oiling has been a very traditional ritual in our family. I remember, anything which hurts you, the first thing which the parents used to rush for was oil. Oil everything, that was the answer to any and everything. Yes, it has definitely a role as far as the hair health is concerned. Like it is a good relaxant. The oil massage is a very good relaxant. It promotes the blood supply. Plus, it does a good conditioning. But overly done produces many other, side effects, such as the frequent folliculitis or the boils of the scalp, as well as like worsening of the dandruff and messing up of your hair also, entangling, disentangling, so many things. It also leads to so many things. But yes, we do allow once in a week for 30 minutes a good oil massage before you do the shampooing. Yes, that will be very useful, but nothing beyond that.
Another problem is not only the loss of hair volume or the hair fall, but also the graying of hair. So here we have two things. One is the premature graying of hair, and then when it happens at the right time, but then people don't want to be seen as graying, so using hair colors. So here I just wanted to ask you about both aspects. So what causes the premature graying of hair and how is it addressed?
I must admit at the outset that the graying of hair is still a gray area even for us. Yes, it does happen in races. We call it a premature graying if it occurs before 30 years in our race and before 20 years in a Caucasian race. But it is seen mostly as a familial thing. Like your parents, your grandparents also had a premature graying. It runs into the families. Also, various other diseases such as thyroid issues, diabetes, and other nutritional disorders in hypoalimentation can also lead to a premature graying of the hair. One of the commonest deficiencies is seen as the B12 deficiency. So we must ensure that these things are really taken care of, and very, very difficult to treat once a gray hair. To get them converted into a dark hair, it remains an enigma even now. We all do cosmetic camouflaging by using hair colors. So two things are very important in while you choose a hair color. One, you always do a behind the ear patch test because many a times you react so badly to the hair color that you dread from again coloring your hair again. It's so bad a reaction. So do a patch test. Normally it is okay, but ensure that it has a contents which are hypoallergenic. Plus, they are devoid of ammonia, they are ammonia free and PPD free. PPD is the main culprit. PPD is a compound paraphenylamine diamine, paraphenylamine diamine. Yeah. There's a main culprit which destroys the hair also. So choose a hair color which is devoid of these things and which is hypoallergenic. So that will be very useful, and accordingly use the application as per the indications.
I just also wanted to ask you about any situations where, there could be warning signs related to the hair that might indicate some kind of need for, like some serious medical issue going on there and an urgent need to consult the doctor. Are there any such situations?
In youngsters, we do come across now very frequently, a syndrome known as a PCOD, polycystic ovarian syndrome, in which suddenly, mostly a female, it's a female only, mostly with the irregular menstrual periods, young kid, just attained adulthood, and irregular periods and all unwanted hair, very prominent at the expense of the scalp hair. And in a particular way, they are receding like in a male pattern, like a baldness. So we have spotted a lot of such endocrinal abnormalities by looking at the hair health in such cases. So is true about the thyroid. Thyroid also has a fair amount of hair loss. And as the women are in some, there are a lot of menstrual irregularities. They do attain a baldness akin to the male pattern kind of baldness known as a female pattern baldness, in which there is a baldness in the central and the crown areas, which is pathognomic only of the male pattern baldness. So, in such cases, a lot of hormonal issues are there, which need to be taken care of by a qualified endocrinologist and then the remedy thereof. Also, there are many systemic disorders such as systemic lupus erythematosus, which are autoimmune in nature. We have discovered so many a times such cases. There is one particular disease which, if detected early, can really restore all your hairs wonderfully in a very quick time. And that is alopecia areata, which is more popularly known as a moth-eaten hair appearance. There is a multiple sort of moth-eaten, totally bald areas are there, and soon you treat them and you again get a big reward by replacing them by the hair growth. So yes, there is an early intervention, so they all can be revoked very easily.
I just wanted to conclude this session by asking you, Doctor, what you have to advise for particularly the career women who are very, very busy with their work schedules and who really do not have much time to care for their skin or their hair. So what are your quick tips to ensure that they also keep their hair on track?
One, yes, I understand they do two stressful jobs at the same time, one looking after the family and one looking after the office work. And they are in such a vigor nowadays that they don't want to compromise at both the places. So hats off to them. But yes, their hair is the first casualty. They have learned how to cope the stress very nicely. At the same time, basic aim they should only look at is how to keep the hairs clean with the least effort. This is the little time they have at their disposal. So right from their brush, they should be very clean brushes. If the hairs are curly, then the brush should be very white tooth. Also, frequent shampooing is not possible because they got a big bulky hairs. So drying them will be a problem. Do not use very hot hair dryers. Always use on a cold mode. And you know very well that the hair is the weakest when it is wet. So try to dry it up and then only use a hair dryer in the end. Also do a deep conditioning once a week. And in between, if the hair hygiene is not good, you can do the dry shampooing also, which does not require the washing, by placing certain medicaments on the scalp. And then cutting them short in the bunches which are very easily manageable, which do not get entangled very fast. These are all the simple things. I think they're more than me.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Mahajan, for this wonderful session. And viewers, I do hope that you now have your questions on hair care answered. And ladies, while you're crowned with success after success in your life, do also take care of your crowning glory, which is your hair. Do reach out to us for any further queries, and we are always ready to respond to any assistance that you might need. So signing off with a salute from all of us here to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. Thank you and namaste.